Hello students, this is Palla Tiwari, your host, and you're watching Palla Tiwari classes. In this video, we will discuss the first chapter of microeconomics, that is Introduction to Microeconomics. Let us see the topics that we will discuss in this chapter. The first topic is opportunity cost. Second topic is margin opportunity cost. And the third topic is production possibility curve. Let's discuss the opportunity cost. Listen, the meaning of the opportunity cost is the next best alternative cost. What it means? It means it is the cost of sacrificed alternative. Just to do the things, everybody has alternatives. In order to select one alternative, it is almost a kinch that the person will sacrifice the other alternative. So it is defined as the value of benefits that is sacrificed by choosing the alternative. It is also called the opportunity lost. Why? Because we have availed one opportunity and at the same time we have lost the other opportunity. It is also called transfer earning to a factor. Try to explain it with an example. See, a person is working in a college A. There he is getting the salary of 7,000 rupees per month. He has two more options. Number one, he can join college C and the college C will pay him 6,500 rupees per month. He can also join college D that will pay him 6,000 rupees per month. Since Mr. A has opted college A, if he has not opted the college A, then he might be having the choice of college C. And if he joined the college C, the salary which he might be getting was or might be getting will be 6,500 rupees. So here the opportunity cost is 6,500 rupees. How? Because the best offer which this person is having is joining C college. Suppose this person has opted college C, then what will be the next alternative available to him? The next available alternative available to him might be D, that is 6,000 rupees. Remember one thing, this person has joined college C. It means that he cannot join college A. Why? Because of the technical reason he has quit it. So whenever we are finding out the opportunity cost, we see the lower opportunity cost. We never see the opportunity which is much more favorable to us. We always see the opportunity which is lower to the present opportunity. In this case, when A has joined the college A, the opportunity cost is 6,500 rupees. We try to see the same thing with another example. See, I can manufacture video and I can make hat. If I decide to make video, we are having these options, that is option A, option B, option C, option D and option E. Suppose if I decide to knit hat, definitely I'll not even get any time. Why? Because I'm busy knitting 30 hats. And if I want to make one video, definitely I left with less time period. So knitting will definitely decrease. So I am in the position to make only 29 hats. If I decide to go for two videos, then I can only make 25 hats and so on. And finally in the E option, when I'm just making four videos, I can't knit any of the hat. Try to see the opportunity. Suppose if I decide to increase the number of the videos, suppose earlier I'm just not making any video and I decide to make three videos. It's almost a case that I have to decrease the number of the hat. How many hat I will sacrifice? I will sacrifice 15 hat. How? 30 minus 15. So the opportunity cost will be 15 hat. Because if I am not making the video, definitely I might be making or knitting 30 hats. Suppose if I go for B2C, it means suppose earlier I'm just making one video and I decide to make one more video, then how much hat will I sacrifice? I will sacrifice 4 hat. How? 29 minus 25. So here the opportunity cost will be 4 hats. Suppose I'm just making 4 videos and I want to make and I'm not making any of the hat. If I want to make 15 hats, What will be the opportunity cost? Definitely I have to decrease the number of the videos. How many videos will I sacrifice? To increase head, I will sacrifice one video. So here the opportunity cost is one video. Suppose from two videos, suppose from 25 head, I want to make 30 heads. Then what will happen? I definitely have to sacrifice the number of the videos from 2 to 0. So here the opportunity cost will be two videos. We can see the same thing in this particular graph. A option, B option, C option, D option and E option. This might be the shape of the opportunity cost. It is always concave to the origin. Now let us see what is the meaning of the marginal opportunity cost. Listen, if the resources are transferred from one use to the other, it is obvious that there would be a loss in the production of one goods in order to increase the production of other. This loss is called marginal opportunity cost. If we want to increase the production of X commodity, we have to decrease the production of Y commodity. Why? Because we are having the limited resources and this loss is called marginal opportunity cost. The other name of the marginal opportunity cost is marginal rate of transformation. It is also called rate of sacrifice. Mathematically, marginal rate of transformation is delta x upon delta y, or amount of consumer goods sacrificed divided by amount of capital goods gained. Suppose I am manufacturing two goods, consumer goods and the capital goods. In order to increase the production of capital goods, what I'm doing, I'm sacrificing the production of consumer goods. So the marginal opportunity cost or margin rate of transformation will be amount of consumer goods divided by amount of capital goods. So there are two ways of representing things. One is through the table and second is through the graph. Try to see the same thing through the schedule. Listen, this is the schedule. These are the options which I have: option A, option B, option C, option D and option E. In the option A, I am just making 0 X goods, but I am producing 10 Y goods. Option B, I am just producing 1 X goods and 6 Y goods. So what you are seeing over here, production of X good is increasing and the production of Y good is decreasing. Why? Because we are having the limited resources, and if we want to increase the production of X, we have to sacrifice the production of Y. Now let us see the marginal opportunity cost. Which good is sacrificing? We can see that there is a fall in the production of Y and there is a gain in the production of X. Earlier we were on the option A. Suppose we opted option B. Earlier, how many Y goods we are manufacturing? We are manufacturing 10 Y goods and we are not manufacturing any X goods. In order to increase the production of X, what we have done? There is a fall in the production of Y. How much? That is 4. 10 minus 6 is 4. And how much production of X has increased? We can see 0, 1. It means 1 minus 0, 1. So according to the formula, loss upon gain is MOC. Loss is 4 units and the gain is 1 unit. So 4 upon 1, margin of opportunity cost is 4. Let us see the C option. We further, suppose if we opted the C option, then we can see there is a further fall in the production of Y and there will be a gain in the production of X. Let us see how much there is a fall. From 6 to 3, we can see the fall is 3 units and here we can say the gain is 1 unit. So 3 divided by 1, that is 3. So MOC is 3. In the option D, we can see the production of Y decreased to 1. So there is a fall of 2 units and production of X has increased to 3. So there is a gain by 1 unit. So the ratio is 2 units. By 3 minus 1 is 2 and 3 minus 2 is 1. So 2 divided by 1, 2. The same thing obviously we can see in the option E, the MOC will be 1. So here we can see that the MOC is falling and we know that the MOC is 4, 3, 2, 1. Through the graph, we can represent the marginal opportunity cost in this way. This is A option, this is B option, this is C option, this is D option and this will be the E option. Now let us see the most important topic, that is the production possibility curve. Remember one thing, this topic is very very important, and the possibility of asking this question is more. Production possibility curve is being known by different names. It is called the production possibility frontier. It is called the production possibility boundary. It is also called the production transformation curve. The resources of an economy as a whole are limited in comparison to demand. We know that we are having unlimited demand, and the resources to meet out these demands are limited. So in order to increase the production of one commodity, the production of another commodity has to be decreased. This leads to different alternatives, and when we represent all these alternatives through the curve, it is called the production possibility curve. Suppose we are manufacturing two commodities. So let us see what is the meaning of the production possibility curve. It is a graphical presentation of showing different combinations of producing two commodities by the use of available technologies and the given resources during a given period of time. Let us see the assumptions in this production possibility curve. The first assumption is the resources available are fixed. The production possibility curve will be applicable, or we can think of going for the production possibility when the resources are available are fixed. The second assumptions in the production possibility curve is that the technology will remain unchanged. Otherwise, it is very difficult to make production possibilities. The third is the resources are employed fully. We presume that whatever the resources we are having, we are making the fuller utilization of the available resources. The next is we presume that um, the resources are employed efficiently. I mean, all the resources are efficiently used. The next is we presume that the resources are not equally efficient. For example, all the labors are not equally efficient to produce X goods and Y goods together. Some labor might be good in manufacturing X goods, some labor might be goods in manufacturing Y goods. All the labor cannot manufacture both the goods with the same skill or dedication. Let us see the features of the production possibility curve. The first feature is production possibility curve is downward sloping. Why it is downward sloping? Listen, we can say that in order to increase the production of Y commodity, what we are doing, we have to decrease the production of X commodity. So here we can see that in the case of the production possibility curve, there is a negative relationship between two commodities. In order to increase the production of one commodity, we have to sacrifice the production of other commodities. If both the commodities are producing, or if both the commodities are increasing, then definitely the slope will be upward, otherwise the slope will be downward. Here there is a negative relationship between both the commodities, so the production possibility curve is sloping downward. The next is PPC is convex to the origin. Mostly what happens, we have seen that the shape of the PPC is convex. Why? Because the margin of opportunity cost is increasing. In order to, that is, in order to produce X, more unit of Y is to be sacrificed. So we can say that MOC is increasing. How the MOC determine the shape of the PPC? Remember one thing, the shape of the MOC, that is margin of opportunity cost, is totally depends upon the shape of the PPC. The question is how? Let us see how the margin of opportunity cost determine the shape of the PPC. PPC might be having three shapes. PPC might be convex, might be a straight line, or might be concave in shape. Let us see when the PPC is convex. PPC will be convex when the marginal opportunity cost is decreasing. Here we can say marginal opportunity cost is decreasing. 4, 3, 2, 1. It is decreasing, yes or no? So we can say that if the marginal opportunity cost is decreasing, the shape of the PPC will be convex. The question is why, if it is decreasing, why and how the shape can be convex? Because here we can see that in order to increase the production of X, less and less unit of Y is being sacrificed. So MOC is decreasing, because of which the shape of the PPC is convex. Why MOC is decreasing? Because in order to increase the production of X, less and less Y unit is sacrificed. This might be the shape of the PPC. We can see that it is convex from the origin. This is the origin, and we can see convex from the origin. Let us see when the shape of the PPC is a straight line. if the MOC is constant, it means that with the same percentage there is an increase in the production of Y, and with the same percentage there is a decrease in the production of X. In short, we can say that because of law of constant returns, the PPC is having a straight line. Through the schedule, we can try to understand the same thing. We can see over here the MOC is constant 4 4 4 4. Why? Because um, the production X is increasing and the production Y is decreasing with the same percentage. So the MOC is constant. The shape here we can see, what we can see over here, the shape of the PPC is a straight line. Let us see when the shape of the PPC is concave. It is due to the increasing MOC or because of the law of diminishing returns. What we can see over here, we can see that the MOC is increasing. What it means? It means in order to increase the production of X, less and less, more and more Y unit is being sacrificed. So MOC is increasing. And the main reason is law of diminishing returns. In a very simple word, we can say that the labor is not very good in manufacturing X commodity. So more and more Y labor is being sacrificed to increase the production of X commodity. We can see that from the origin, the shape of the PPC is concave. Listen, we know that the production possibility curve means what? Different options of producing two commodities. It's called production possibilities. So now we will discuss attainable and the unattainable production possibilities. Before going for the production, we determine the options. If we are in the position to attain the options, it is called attainable. And if the options because of inefficiency left unattained, it becomes unattainable. Try to see the meaning. These refers to attainable. These refers to those combination of two goods that can be produced with the available resources and technologies. And these points lie on the production possibility curve. It can be categorized into two, that is fully employed or efficient utilization or underemployed. Second is unattainable production possibilities. These refers to those combination of two goods which cannot be achieved with the present endowment of resources, availability of the resources and technologies. However, if the economy attempts to achieve such possibilities, then it will lead to overutilization or employment. Try to see all these things in a graph. It's in the point on the production possibility curve. These points on the production possibility curves are fuller utilization of resources. And the point lying inside the production possibility, that is I, that is inefficient production possibility. It means that the employee is totally unable to make the available resources, because of which the production the production is inefficient. There is a wastage of resources. So whatever the thing he has presumed, definitely the production is not according to the standard. And at the same time, we can see that Z, that is outside the production possibility curve, that is unattainable production possibilities. This point mostly is unattainable, but if we try to attain this particular production level, then all the resources should be made overutilized. If the resources will be overutilized, then the point will be unattainable. Actually, this is unattainable. Why? Because with the given technologies, this production level cannot be attained. Let us see the shift and the rotation of the production possibilities. A PPC, remember one thing, the shift and the rotation, the change in the shape of the production possibilities totally depends upon two things. One is the availability of the resources, and the second one is level of technologies. If there is a change in the resource endowment of the economy, then the shape will be changed. And at the same time, if there is a change in the if there is a change in the technologies, that is because of depreciation or appreciation, there might be the change, or there might be a shift in the shape of the production possibilities. Firstly, we will see the change in the endowment of resources. Listen, with a given endowment of the resources, with a given availability of the resources and the level of the technologies, let us assume that the initial PPC of the economy is represented by AB. Now, if suppose that the economy discovers new sources of resources, then it means that the economy can produce more of both capital and the consumer goods. Here we presume that we are manufacturing consumer and the producer goods. We try to explain it with this diagram. Listen, how many goods we are manufacturing? We are manufacturing two goods, consumer goods and the producer goods. Clear? Suppose the economy find the new sources of the raw material. What will happen? It means that there will be a shift in the production possibilities to the right hand side. We can see the earlier the production possibility is AB. Earlier the production possibility is AB. And because of finding the new sources, the production possibility shifts to CD. I repeat the same thing again. If somehow the entrepreneur find the new sources of the raw material, what will happen? There will be a shift, there will be a rightward shift in the production possibility, that is from AB to CD. That is called increase in resources. And if there will be a shortage of the resources, then there will be a leftward shift, that is from AB to EF. That is called decrease in resources. The reason is decrease in resources. Now let us see what will happen when there is a change in the technology. Since the change in the technology may either take place in the production of both goods. We know that we are manufacturing two goods, capital goods and the consumer goods. Let us see what will happen, change in the production of production technologies. Suppose there is a change in the production technology of capital goods, then let us see what will happen. Suppose there is a change in the production of consumer goods, then let us see what will happen. Then suppose there is a change in production of both capital and the consumer goods both, then let us see what will happen. Suppose there is a change in the technology of capital goods. If there is a change in the technology of production goods, suppose there is advancement in the technology of capital goods, we can say the production of the consumer goods will be the same, but the production of capital goods will increase. So the shape of the PPC will be like this one. New shape will be EC and it will shift from AB. Suppose there will be a deterioration, there will be a depreciation in the technologies of capital goods. What will happen? There will be a fall in the production of only capital goods. The shape will be like this one. It will shift from AB to AD. Suppose there is a change in the consumer goods. On the y-axis represent the production of consumer goods. Suppose there is advancement in the technology of the producer goods, then there will be an increase in the consumer goods only, not the capital goods. The shape will be like this one. Upward movement. And if there is a depreciation of the technologies used in the consumer goods, then there will be a decrease in the consumer goods only. The production of the capital goods might be the same. So we can see that the shape will be like this one, downward sloping little bit. Suppose there is a change in the technology of both consumer goods and the producer goods both at the same time. If both technologies improved, then there will be a rightward shift. We can see AB to CD. And if there is a deterioration of both the technologies, then there will be a leftward shift, that is from AB to EF, that we can see right down in this diagram. That's all we have in this video. Thanks for watching. God bless you all. Meet you soon with a new video. Till then, stay home, stay safe. God bless you all.